With such an array of health fads available, it's a relief to know that the ideal tools for healing and health have always been available at home. Hi, I am Christine Lynn Stormer-Fra, also known as Chris Stormer, the Universal Foot Lady. Many years ago, I channeled through at home with Mind, Body and Soul, and although I have shared this amazing information through presentations worldwide, only now have I made time to do these videos. The advantage of being considered off the wall is that I am known to entertain bizarre notions acquired from universal insights and shared by using my hand-drawn charts from my presentations, along with cartoon diagrams inspired by Google to reveal some handy and incredible DIY tools available. Having explored the study, lounge, bedrooms and expressways, let's pop into the kitchen to see what's cooking and going on there. This entails going back to the entrance, the mouth, to acquire a taste of things to come, while nosing around to see what's available, using a telltale sniff of what is going on. The passageway leading from the front door to the kitchen energetically mimics the esophagus, greatly influenced by emotions. But first, let's look at what elements are linked to all the various activities at home. The magnetic qualities of sunshine yellow inspire and stimulate, while its intellectual resonance encourages ideas to be put into practice. Exciting the motor nerves, yellow generates energy in the muscle, essential for constructive, worthwhile activities to feed and nourish the mind, body and soul until satisfied and fulfilled. Instead of yelling out, it's best to get on with it and enjoying the enthusiasm that yellow offers. Although words carry a lot of weight, actions speak louder than words. Actions shape life, sculpturing it on a moment-to-moment basis. It's simply not possible to be alive without making an impact. Tackling a dreaded task, no matter how arduous, can be invigorating, offering a revived sense of confidence and strength, making the relief palpable. There is always something that never seems to get done, but doing it is so liberating, freeing up a tremendous amount of energy. The angelic number 3 gives extra dimensions to life experiences, with its rhythm and flowing momentum providing the alignment required for the best possible outcome. A busy energy, 3 is highly creative and forward-focused. Constantly alert to the fiery decisions of what to do, the active third toes resent having to conform and bend into the outdated and boring traditional ways. If one or both third toes overlap the fourth toe, whatever is done is not spoken about, while being overridden by a fourth toe indicates all action and no talk. Whatever happens, the impact of actions and reactions rebound onto the upper halves of the instep. Related to the third toes, the middle finger gesture, considered rude and indecent, mimicking the penis and testicles, is a surefire way to send somebody into an absolute rage. Being the most noticeable digit, the self-centered middle fingers are head and shoulders above the rest. So showing off sparkly bling on this digit won't go unnoticed, particularly since it symbolizes power and is representative of balance, equilibrium, and responsibility. The element that activates the body and fills the home with warmth is fire, destructive when ignited through anger and frustration, or constructive when fueled with enthusiasm and excitement. Too much yelling and owing raises the temperature until blowing the top. Meanwhile, lack of activity leaves the body cold and unapproachable due to a cold front. The sun, a supreme creative force, has always been a source of fascination. Absorbed through the hairs on the skin's surface, it highlights unacknowledged issues residing beneath the surface. Not allowing its rays to enter the body and heart by using suntan lotions, sun hats, and sunglasses is an en masse control scheme intended to block the rays in consciousness from the ultra-divine violet rays radiating through the hole in the ozone layer. Sunspots accused of causing skin cancer only do so when old ways of thinking block new concepts. Sunburn draws attention to burning issues, with children being reflections of their parents. The nose gets it when angry at not being recognized or acknowledged. The shoulders from burning up with endless burdens and responsibilities dumped on them. The back from heat emanating from unresolved issues shoved into the background, and so on. Welcoming the sun into the home has a purifying effect on the psyche. The day of moving into a new home can be a piece of cake or dramatic. If the strain of unpacking and finding space to put things is perceived to be difficult and taking more time than it should, then it is likely to upset digestion. Leaving things in boxes only complicates matters, blocking energy for longer than necessary. The question is whether the packed objects are missed. The sooner everything is organized, the easier it is to settle in. When life gets tough, the tough get going. That's the adrenal glands for you. Notorious for their ability to step into life-threatening situations with superhuman strength, their more significant contribution is providing innate courage to be innovative and outrageously creative, regardless of any opposition or perceived stumbling blocks created at home. Testing points along the way create an awareness of innate talents and capabilities. These fiery glands offer plenty of energy, enthusiasm, and determination for exciting new concepts and ideas to be introduced and implemented. The nose is delighted when recognized for personal achievements, but gets miffed when approval and recognition are sought elsewhere. Perfectionists are most likely to be irritated and let things get up the nose, with constant sneezing from sinusitis or hay fever, known also as seasonal allergic rhinitis, triggered by pollen grains when the perfectionist gets in their own way, preventing themselves from spreading their brilliant ideas. If due to outdoor molds, it's moldy old relationships spreading discontent. Carrying mucus-drenched snot rags and tissues around, whether in a handbag or pocket, is indicative of hanging on to irritabilities that constantly get up the nose. Men generally have a bigger pile of handkerchiefs than women, and often sound like a foghorn when blowing the nose, a warning that hazardous emotions are constantly getting in the way. The nose acts as a conduit between the outer and inner worlds, just like chimneys. Before Santa Claus slid down the chimney, the fireplace served as a venue for many magical visitors, with European folklore still considering the hearth and chimney as a connection with the natural and supernatural worlds. The smell of burning coal can conjure up a range of memories that involve blowing the coals and spreading smouldering animosity, or being hauled over the coals and given a roasting, or carrying the coals and being put upon, even carrying the coals to Newcastle and wasting energy. Some pregnant women get a craving for coal when short of iron and lacking inner strength, while a craving for burnt toast indicates a carbon deficiency and the need for more substance. Surrounded by smells picked up by the olfactory map in the nose, the response to odors is emotional rather than intellectual, as buried memories are conjured up. The most abstract of all senses, the sense of smell is ideal for testing the surrounding air and making sure that the soul stays on track. The moment the soul wanders off track, the sense of smell becomes diminished and eventually lost. Once back on track, smell sharpens and becomes more acute, pointing the soul in the most ideal direction. Around 80% of taste is smell. When entering the home after a long absence, old musty smells reveal outdated issues with mold, and those moldy old relationships being at the top of the list. The humility of being molded and taken advantage of hangs in the air, along with lingering unpleasant smells from a build-up of dirt and grime emanating from foul thoughts and a filthy mind. Inadequately dried clothing and linens stink when communications have become hopeless or when feeling squished and forced into an unwelcome situation. A whole heap of family nonsense often gets entangled and rot in the old carpets and rugs, all reminiscence of revolting memories of what happened or didn't happen when growing up. Whatever the mind buys into, the body takes on, determined by a whole range of thoughts and decisions depending on the sensitivity of sensory organs, since these are the first to react badly to intolerable situations. Once taken in and having gone through an experience, the resulting knowledge is shelved for future use, creating a recipe for disaster or a recipe for success. Storing all this energy is the liver, the largest and busiest organ, acting as a storehouse of resources and constantly on the go, while generating ongoing enthusiasm to keep things going. Whenever feeling exhausted, going through and clearing out all the storage spaces in the home provides a real boost. This includes the filing system and computer to sort out the mind, cupboards in the passageway for lymph to get going, bedroom closets and drawers to release unwanted emotions, kitchen cupboards to create the vitality to get on, bathroom cupboards to clear up any misunderstanding within relationships, and the garage and shed to make way for self-worth. The longer things are stored, the quicker they age. When things go off quickly inside the fridge or freezer, regular cleaning assists the liver and reduces the frustration. Other insights into the liver can be gained when cupboard doors and drawers are constantly left open, particularly if the contents are a mess. Besides being lazy, it's a way of displaying innermost feelings that desperately need attention. Clutter on top of cupboards indicates a possible problem looming overhead, making one a bit potty, especially during the pandemic. Having had a guts full of all that's going on drains the body of energy, leaving it flat. This also happens when reacting badly to synthetic materials, when sick and tired of artificial behavior, as well as everyone making such a meal of everything. This is when a cup of coffee or tea, both containing caffeine, are often craved, although allergies to either could arise from a subconscious memory of the harsh treatment of slaves when shipped from the west coast of Africa to the east coast of America, with the energy now influencing the El Nino effect of the Pacific Ocean. Blaming caffeine for not sleeping comes from an instilled belief system. Had the universe thought decaffeinated beverages were better, it would have grown natural decaffeinated coffee beans and tea leaves. There is so much to stomach every day, with the kitchen, where everything happens, being symbolic of the stomach. A lot of time is spent here, whether by choice or necessity, but it is not the only place cooking takes place, with thoughts and plans constantly being concocted in the mind. The stomach carries out similar functions to those performed in the kitchen, such as preparing food for utilization throughout the whole body. But like the cook, it resents being taken advantage of, and it hates the hopelessness of the same old, while cooking the books is the absolute pits. For a home to work well, it's important that all operational parts function efficiently and effectively, especially in the kitchen, where appliances in good working order are essential for assisting with special tasks for implementing ideas. Other tools of the trades are the thought process that goes into making meals, which, like projects, take a certain amount of planning. When body, mind, and spirit are replenished, they are better equipped to handle whatever comes their way. The passageway from the kitchen to the dining room is representative of the duodenum and the ileum, and decisions of how to best use past experiences to cope with current situations. A duodenal ulcer indicates concern and worry eating away due to what happened previously. The dining room, if the home has one, is symbolic of the spleen, influenced by a whole host of inherent beliefs around behaviors such as sit up straight, elbows off the table, don't speak with your mouth full. Linked to the disease to please, it goes overboard when too obsessed with principles, with splenetics describing a person in a foul mood or a state of pensive sadness or melancholy. As the body's clock, it provides a methodical balance in all activities, while whatever is on the plate is indicative of all that has been taken on work-wise. Making the spleen swell with indignation is malaria, a word taken from Italian meaning bad air. It is linked to the bothersome and vexing mosquito. It may be tiny, but it can pack a wallop when biting, certainly grabbing attention to the fact of being overly obsessive or highly resentful about having the blood sucked. The belief that everybody should have 3 square meals has long fallen by the wayside in many households, yet meals are best eaten at the table. Even though a great time for family to get together and chat, when it comes to eating, it is far better done in silence to assist digestion. Many beliefs revolve around food, and like most things, it is the belief that determines whether a certain food is good or bad, based on a memory of something that happened or didn't happen previously. A bad experience invariably leads to the limitation or omittance of certain foods. Among the most common special diets are no gluten, when the essential ingredient is missing in relationships, no nuts to exclude any craziness, no dairy to eliminate issues with the products of mother's milk, usually siblings, no sugar to avoid having to replace the lack of joy and pleasure, no fish to evade any fishy business, no shellfish to shun selfishness. These are just a handful of special diets that cater for particular tastes. Everybody is an active ingredient in life, with the essential and powerful aspects being honesty, communication, and change, along with the ability to embrace new trends and to form nutrients for the body's well-being. The more that hefty emotions and heaps of work are taken on, the more the body has to make space to accommodate it all, often resulting in obesity and an obsession with food. Things not working out as planned and being a fat lot of good just add to the weight. In times gone by, it was a sign of wealth to bring home the bacon, with small pieces shared with visitors as everybody sat around the fire and chewed the fat. The relationship with food all depends on memories of behavior. Eating like a pig, eating a lot in a sloppy, greedy, or an unpleasant manner, or living high on the hog being a couple of them. Eating whatever and never putting an ounce on may be the envy of many, but is a sign of deprivation, not of food, but of lost opportunities, while being skinny suggests emotional gaps that desperately need filling. Eating disorders from regret create an absolute frenzy in the upper digestive organs. Heart-wrenching issues burn the heart with heartburn. Constant complaining makes life indigestible, causing indigestion, while starved of love and punishing oneself is known as bulimia and anorexia. It sometimes feels good to revel in the hurt, pain, and unfairness of it all, to get in touch with innermost feelings, but enough already. Dragging things out and making a meal of things only magnifies the discontent, the discomfort, the disorder, and disturbance, until the body eventually gets sick and tired of being fed the same old sorry saga and exhausted from the incessant moaning and groaning. Eating habits and table manners have an impact on the upper digestive organs. While clearing the table, removing leftovers, rinsing, washing, and putting away the dishes helps the excretory and lower digestive organs clear the way to get on with other jobs and projects. It involves deciding what serves the home and whether the owner is being of service to all the contents in the home, just as consciously serving humanity, no matter how, directly contributes to overall welfare. It's great to be of service, but not to be treated like a servant. The service providers are the main tenants that maintain the home, and although paid rather than paying, reveal why things don't work or go wrong. Difficulties with a roofer or electrician highlight snags with personal ideas. Problems with a chimney sweep or air conditioning technician reveal heated emotions that just won't settle. Struggles with a builder expose challenges with building the desired future. Glitches with a plumber or pool cleaner indicate communication hitches, and a security technician playing up points to insecurity. The fruits of one's labor, bursting with goodness, are a joy to behold. However, fruit can suddenly become a nightmare if a histamine intolerance upsets the immune system and makes it hypersensitive, causing the body to feel icky when confronted with what's going on or not going on. This may be triggered by a profound sadness about the dreadful work conditions endured by previous generations who worked so hard with little or no reward. Or, more recently, perhaps the father disappeared, leaving the mother to support the family on her own. Alternatively, it could be having to continually face fruitless outcomes or projects that never bear fruit, including not being able to fall pregnant or suffering a series of miscarriages. The question of whether a tomato is a fruit or a vegetable found its way into the United States Supreme Court in 1893, who declared that the tomato was botanically speaking a fruit, but was declared a vegetable, so it could be taxed. A dislike or allergy to tomatoes is often due to a sibling who tomorrow goes to snitch on them. Meanwhile, native to Mexico and Central America, the word avocado is an ancient Aztec word meaning testicle, either due to its shape or the fact that it was considered to possess aphrodisiac qualities, yet it more closely resembles the womb. No surprise that this sacred fruit is embraced as the symbol of love, as well as a source of energy, health, and beauty, with its trees living for hundreds of years. After all, life is a bowl of cherries, full of pleasure and enjoyment. Or is it? For centuries, cherries played important roles in art and literature, full of symbolism from the lofty to the sublime, and from sexual to devout, but typically representing good fortune, celestial wealth, and the fruit of paradise. However, when life isn't so great, the pancreas is the first to let the body know. The pancreas diligently extracts as much satisfaction and fulfillment as it can from the feedback it receives from all that has been going on. It loves dining out on the benefits of pleasurable pursuits and generously shares these to nourish the whole, hence its connection to the family or games room, the multifunctional all-purpose room in the home, if there is one. What the pancreas cannot do is extract pleasure or happiness from activities packed with discontent, doom and gloom. Grief from an emotionally traumatic experience sap it of its energy, and although it tries to compensate for 18 months to 2 years by drawing on whatever shreds of joy come its way, eventually the strain shows with pancreatic disorders such as diabetes. Hobbies are a great way to relax while offering challenges and experiences, opening the world to other possibilities. Looking for the best in everybody and everything helps the pancreas regain its confidence and in turn find enough delight to keep on going. Having a sweet tooth often goes hand in hand with pancreatic disorders, with sugar highlighting the root issue around decisions. Acidity removes tooth enamel, although saliva does its best to prevent this. Rotten decisions rot the teeth, and teeth ache when longing to make up the mind over a long-standing dilemma. The body craves sweets when wishing to replace the void of no joy. Sound penetrates everything in the vicinity, so the saying that walls have ears has an element of truth, with walls absorbing the energy of everything going on, including secrets. When it comes to humans, despite the opportunity to hear, it's another matter of how much is taken in. It all depends on the state of mind, and more importantly, the content or discontent of the heart. A home is constantly full of sounds, whether it's sound advice echoing throughout and resonating in the chest, or a racket and commotion. Some sounds get on the nerves when resonating with a dreadful past experience, and still dwelling in the subconscious. Silence is often misinterpreted, but never misquoted. Earrings originating in ancient Asia were worn mainly by men and have been popular for more than 7,000 years. In Egypt, they signified wealth or a higher class. In ancient Rome, they were worn by slaves, and in ancient Greece by prostitutes, although the wealthy wore earrings with pearls and other expensive stones to display their social status. Kidneys are powerful chemical and emotional factories, the shock absorbers and waterworks of the body, bathing the entire cellular system in essential life force fluids and crucial chemicals to perform a life-sustaining task of filtering out and removing worked-through thoughts and emotions from the bloodstream. The special relationship between the life-sustaining kidneys and other organs and glands is one of dependency, highly reliant on the chemistry between individuals, with balance and inner calm being the key traits. Kidneys complain about kid-like behavior in adults from extreme disappointment, disillusionment, or feeling of failure. Gravel deposits and excessive calcium build up in one or both kidneys from constant family interference when trying to get on, and it's excruciating. Dissolving family tension is a step in the best direction. How animals are treated reveals respect for the soul. Dogs spelt backwards is God, with the fear of particular dogs indicating a dread of embracing certain aspects of spirituality, while cats, also spiritual beings, are powerful protectors of psychic energy associated with witches on broomsticks. Getting to the root cause of pet hates means going back in time to see what happened to result in this subsequent belief, such as behaving like a dog, an intolerance of saliva when not a fan of drooling, a bad reaction to dander, pointing to raised hackles when things get damn rough and kin get under the skin. If fur is the culprit, irritating ideas getting everywhere, an inability to deal with urine, pissed off it's the same old, and difficulty in getting rid of the smell of the past. Should the sight of a pet send shivers down the spine, it could be terrifying emotional scenes with owners fighting like cats and dogs. And so it goes on. Animals represent love and are the divine teachers of devotion. Pet hates are not confined to animals, but are also a source of annoyance, a pet peeve or minor irritations that cannot be ignored and soon get under the skin, driving the mind crazy, such as a slow computer, know-it-alls, nail-biters, noisy eaters, clicking pens, rude drivers, those who constantly arrive late thinking their time is more valuable, to mention but a few. Maybe it's time to stop being so petty and no longer complain about trivial matters. The secret meaning of nature has always been cherished, with plants having different qualities and symbolism, shared in small bouquets called tussie-mussies during the Victorian era. A good place to escape whatever is going on in their home is the garden shed, traditionally used to store tools, but now increasingly used to store different tools, such as laptops and office equipment. An informal and often humble dwelling, it is an ideal getaway not too far from home. Whether working from home or going off to work, the choice of occupation is ideal in helping work through unresolved family issues handed down from generation to generation, to find and work out unresolved issues that still need working on. Nobody does anything for another person. Everything is done for oneself, to become increasingly resourceful and innovative. So here, to end, is a delightful poem. They said to build a better world. I said I would, but how? The world is such a cold, depressing place, and so complicated right now. And I am so small and helpless too. There's really nothing I can do. They said, oh yes, indeed there is. Just build a better you. If you'd like to explore this more, please go to my website, www.alwaysbewithoutthee.com, where you will find information on the 9 books that I have already written on the subject of reflexology, channeling, and the language of the feet, as well as the emotional and spiritual aspects. Remember, healing and health are only 2 feet away.